Danny Quinto, Kigay Wellness Network. Now, for this episode, let me share with you 3 food sources that directly fuel cancer growth, coming from Dr. William Lin and Dr. David Schreiber. Now, these 3 food sources, they directly fuel cancer growth. So I'm dedicating this video to those of you who may have problems with cancer, and even some of my close friends who are having problems with cancer. Now, millennia ago, we were hunter-gatherers. We were eating food which were mainly vegetables and fruits, of course meat, but these were mostly of wild animals, and even eggs from wild animals in their natural state. Now, in the Paleo area, wherein our genetics were being formed, we were mostly eating these kinds of food. But then, the food then was quite balanced with fatty acids, with the proper amounts of omega-3s and omega-6s. There was very little sugar then. And the sugar that we were eating, they were eating, our ancestors before, were mostly raw honey, natural. And there was no flour. And so what they were eating then were very complex carbohydrates, which when eaten does not spike your insulin level. And by sugar estimates, they estimated that the average consumption during the Paleo area was around 2 kilograms in 1 year. Now, by the 1800s, that already came to around 5 kilograms per year. But by the dawn of the 20th century, did you know that we were consuming from 70 to around 80 kilograms per year? Now, that's a lot, and that's just the average. For those who were very obese and have weight problems, that was a lot more of it. So today, the processed food that we are eating in this processed era, 56% of it does not come from those that were available during the Paleo area. They were non-existent, because in this era today, most of the food that we consume are quite processed. Now, let me share with you 3 food sources that come during this era which were non-existent before. The first one, and which all of this, they cause a lot of inflammation. And we know that inflammation definitely has a direct proportion to the cancers that are growing nowadays. The first one is refined sugar. When we say refined sugar, it's no longer the natural sugar. It comes from cane sugar, from beet sugar, and from the corn syrup, high glycemic index corn syrup. And the second one is from bleached flour. We know that from white bread and the pasta that we eat, bleached flour. And the third one from vegetables oils that have been processed, also soybean, sunflower, corn oil, canola oil, and trans fatty oils, which are not really good for our body. Now, let us delve directly into it, into what foods we need to refrain from eating. We have to make sure, because it aggravates inflammation, and on what food that we can, in a way, be eating more, which reduces inflammation. Now, the first one is our traditional diet, traditional Western diet. This is composed mostly of fast foods and food that are very high in cholesterol, very high in fat, and very processed. Another one is refined sugar, coming from white flour. Refined sugar. So we eat a lot of cookies, we eat a lot of bread, we eat a lot of ice cream, we eat a lot of cakes, right? You might be eating a lot of it now. Another one comes from red meat, basically coming from industrially grown animals. Another one is oils with plenty of omega-6s. This comes from what we just mentioned: corn oil, sunflower oil, canola oil, and soy oil. Another group comes from dairy products, believe it or not, because dairy products nowadays are highly processed. Another one comes from eggs, from chicken raised in industrial farms, which are being fed soy and corn. Now, let me add the ones that cause additional inflammation is definitely anger and despair, especially during these pandemic times, no exercise, and a lot of smoking. So if your diet and what you do looks like this, better reduce it. How do we do it? Well, you can adopt a Mediterranean diet. There's a lot of fruits, there's a lot of vegetables, there's a lot of nuts right there in the Mediterranean diet, and virgin olive oil. Okay, so that's our secret. Also, Indian cuisine and our Asian diet. They found out, did you know, that although the United States spends the highest number per capita on health care worldwide, according to the World Health Organization, they just rank number 43 in terms of health overall. And so it doesn't equate, right? So we better adopt the Mediterranean diet or an Indian cuisine or an Asian diet. Okay, now instead of refined sugar or white flour, we could use multi-grain flour, the one that is more natural. And then more olive oil, more flaxseed oil, and coconut oil. Now, these kinds of oil, they contain the better percentage of omega-3s with omega-6s. There should be more omega-3 fatty acids. And omega-3s, they're also found in sardines, they're found in salmon. So you can consume more of these sardines and salmon. Now, eggs, they should be coming from dairy farms, chickens that are raised quite naturally in a natural environment, meaning the eggs that they produce are more or less organic. Then you might add a lot of laughter, a lot of walking, a lot of low intensity exercises, which I'll be sharing in different episodes. Okay? And so those are just the 3 food groups that we need to really make sure we can improve on. And if we do so, we will lessen the chance of inflammation, lessen the chance of having cancer, and all of the attendant pain that it entails, either for you or for one that you love. Now, before I close, let me give a quotation from Dr. William Lin, one of my favorite gurus online. Now, Dr. William Lin is a doctor. He is the founder of the Angiogenesis Foundation. He's from the Harvard Medical School and the author of the best-selling book, Eat to Beat Disease. Okay, and he said, and I quote, "Our health is an active state, with defense systems keeping our cells and organs functioning very smoothly. They are also so powerful that they can even reverse diseases like cancer." Wow. Reverse disease. I like that word, basically, from Dr. William Lin. And so let us all remember that if we are having problems on cancer, if you know somebody who's having problems on cancer, please tell them to consult your doctor. But at the same time, I would encourage you to add these natural therapies that are being researched on, and the result is that they can prevent and even inhibit cancer growth. If you really like the lesson, please apply them in your life. Please share them with others, your good friends, and please subscribe to Ikigai Wellness Network. This is your wellness friend, Danny Quinto, saying thank you, stay safe, stay out of too much sugar or high glycemic index foods, stay healthy. See you next episode.